So recently, ladies and gentlemen, we've been discussing on this program, and people have been discussing elsewhere, how did the two terrorists in Boston get radicalized? Where did it happen? Is it still jumping to conclusions to link Islam to this bombing? It is. Yes, my friend, and that would be wrong, according to the latest conventional wisdom and the latest consensus. Islam had nothing to do with this. In fact, they'll be jumping to conclusions to link Islam to this bombing. And the reason is that Jokhar has told the authorities that he and his bro did the bombings because of their faith in Islam. But we're not supposed to jump to conclusions over that. We still have to wait till we have more conclusive proof that Muslim extremism might have been a factor. The fact that the brothers are saying Jokhar has told the authorities they did the bombings because of their faith in Islam, that's not really why they did it. So we can't believe what they say. Let's go to the audio sound bites. This is this morning on Happening Now on Fox, just moments ago, actually. Jenna is talking to the former head of the CIA Bin Laden unit, Michael Scheuer, about a recent blog he wrote where he argues the Boston Marathon bombers were motivated by, wait for it, what the U.S. does in the Muslim world. She said to him, Jenna Lee said to Michael Scheuer, why do you say that?
Because it's true, ma'am. There's been no evidence since Osama bin Laden declared war on us in 1996 and his followers and those he inspired continued to wage war, that they were bombing us because we had women in the workplace, or you or I had a beer after work, or because we voted early in Iowa every 4 years. The description has been consistently, including the young men who bombed in Boston, that their activities are a response to our support for the Saudi tyranny, our invasion of Iraq, our support for the Israelis. Most recently, Mr. Obama has invaded 2 Muslim countries, Mali and Libya. It seems to me we spend a lot of wasted time trying to figure out what motivates these people.
So there you have it. They said it was their faith in Islam, and we now know that there was this mysterious imam in the mix. But it had nothing to do with it. No, it's the United States' fault. Policy in Israel, Saudi Arabia, invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan. Jenna Lee said, well, if we pull out of the Muslim world and if we decided that we wouldn't do anything in the Muslim world anymore, would there then be no terror attacks against us in the future?
There'd be much less. You just have to come to grips with the fact that people don't like to be invaded or bombed by anybody, and we have been engaged in that. The Islamists started this war. They explained to us as clearly as General Giap and Ho Chi Minh explained to us why they were fighting us, and we have ignored it. Mrs. Clinton has ignored it, Bill Clinton, George Bush, Barack Obama. The idea that they're attacking us because of our culture is insane. We are now waging a war against them culturally. We're trying to impose democracy, women's rights, parliamentary systems on a people who don't want it. They're going to fight that.
Yeah, the 2 Boston bombers have made all that very clear. Yeah, well, the one surviving Boston bomber made it all very clear. So you see, my friends, it's developing now, the consensus. All of this is our fault, even though Scheuer here said the Islamists started this war. But we nevertheless are guilty. They're telling us why they're... The idea they hate our freedom, that's insane. The idea that we don't succumb and agree to Sharia, that's got nothing to do with it. The idea that we remain independent and that we're infidel, nothing to do with it. Don't fall for that stuff in the Quran. That's not why they're doing it. They're doing it because we are provoking them. They're doing it because we're all over the world where they are, and we're trying to force things on them they don't like. And if we stopped doing that, they wouldn't be doing much more of this. And by the way, this meme is now all over the drive-by media. Didn't take long. It's the fault of the United States or what happened to Boston. Okay, so the meme is we did it, the United States. We are responsible. Michael Scheuer, who... I'll refrain. To me, no credibility there whatsoever. There's a bias, there's an agenda, but it's our fault. Islam's nothing to do with this. The Quran has nothing to do with this. Sharia has nothing to do with this. The fact that we're infidels, nothing at all to do with this. In fact, do you know that radical Islamists, the jihadists, are attacking people all over the world because of the United States foreign policy? Well, wouldn't that have to be? Why would the jihadists be attacking anybody but us? Nobody else supporting Israel the way we do. Nobody else invaded Afghanistan. Nobody else invaded Iraq. Nobody else has such a tight relationship with the Saudis. Certainly no other country does, no other nation. And yet the jihadis are all over the world trying to convert people, the infidels. So what's the excuse? Why are the jihadis all over the world attacking innocent people? You might have something to do with the fact that they're infidels, that they have not accepted Sharia, that they maintain their own religious independence from Islam. It has to be that they're all allies of the United States. It has to be that, boy, if they could have invaded Iraq, they would have. If they could have invaded Afghanistan, they would have. This is how this works. So it's all our fault. Our natural state, the way we exist, vis-a-vis our foreign policy, is why they're doing this. And furthermore, if we pulled out of Israel, and if we pulled out of Saudi Arabia, and if we pulled out of Club Gitmo, if we pulled out of Afghanistan, pulled out of Iraq, they'd stop, says Scheuer. And this theme is now being picked up in the drive-by media. We have a montage last night from NBC, CNN, ABC people, and here's their thought on this.
They believe the U.S. wars in Iraq and Afghanistan were an attack on Islam.
The suspects may have been motivated because of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
The wars in Afghanistan and Iraq were motivating factors.
Motivated in part by the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
U.S. actions in Iraq and Afghanistan, which the younger brother said became their motivation to attack.
U.S. involvement in the Iraq and Afghanistan wars were motivating factors.
The wars in Afghanistan and Iraq have been cited.
The wars in Afghanistan and Iraq were the reason he and his brother decided to set off the deadly bombs.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Have you noticed how studiously the news media have avoided reporting that Joker appears to have been an Obama supporter? That's right. Joker Tsarnaev celebrated Obama's re-election on Twitter. It's Obama that went into Afghanistan. Obama that has not gotten us out of Iraq. Well, not until recently. It's Obama who is continuing the policy of invading Libya, Syria, continuing to do business with Israel. It's Obama with the kill list and the drones. And Joker Tsarnaev celebrated Obama's re-election on Twitter. And yet, Joker did what he did because he doesn't like Obama. Or maybe it's the Limbaugh theorem. Maybe Joker doesn't know that Obama's doing all this. Maybe Joker thinks Obama's trying to stop it all. Like all the low-information voters in this country believe that Obama's got nothing to do with anything that's happening. He's trying to stop it. Judging from Joker's other tweets, he's also pro-pot, pro-rap. He's a 9/11 truther.